and the quality of life. So I'm just going to start by keeping it real, because I'm going to keep this, also try to keep this as short as we can, and possibly there's time for question and answers. So respect for you guys' time. So oxidative stress. So I'm going to start with some unhealthy facts because it affects all of us in the state of the United States. So we know that a lot of people are dying of heart disease. It's still the #1 killer. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men die of cancer. Those are pretty high statistics. And then now they're saying 1 in 3 people will die of diabetes, will have diabetes by the year of 2050, which is not far from now. And already one in 3 of our children are obese. And, you know, this is kind of an alarming statistic, especially in the United States, because we're supposed to be the leaders in the world, but that's the state of our unhealthy right now. Some of the leading causes, as I mentioned, is heart disease, cancer, stroke. Then it go down a little bit further, lung disease, Alzheimer's or dementia. Influenza, I thought, was really surprising, and then diabetes. So these are causes, leading causes of death, and I'll make the connection as far as how it relates to stress. So now I really want to talk about this one because, you know, when I was in school, my entire time working on my doctorates, I started being forced to look at articles, and I made a commitment to myself to write about anything related to African Americans, because I kept seeing African Americans are the highest death rate of this, African Americans the highest death rate of that, and I got upset, to be honest with you. So I started delving into it further, but I just want to show you just where we are in the state of affairs right now. So if you look at this graph, they always say non-Hispanic. I don't know why, but non-Hispanic, Black female, non-Hispanic, Black male, non-Hispanic, white female, then it's male, then it's the actual Hispanics. What is it that you all notice on here? If we look at the death rate per 100,000 people, who's at the top? Black men. Who's next? We're almost neck and neck with white males, Black females. But this is starting in 2000, and the next one I think is in 2015. The screen's blocking it, but I think it says 2015. But so that shows that it has declined, you know, when you look at the green, but we are still dying at a much higher rate. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, and I kept seeing articles about this one after the other. They're still trying to drill down and find out why, but part of it has to do with our environment. Which takes me to this. So we know years ago, we didn't deal with half of this pollution. And half of this, you know, we're dealing with climate change right now. You know, we've got these landfills, we've got, you know, oil spills, and, you know, oil spills, it takes years and years and years to try to clean that up. Plastics don't disintegrate. I live personally 4 miles on either side, to the east and to the west, of oil refineries. And, you know, oil refineries let off in the middle of the night, they let off these emissions. They're allowed to let them off, and you can smell it in the air. But all of that stuff has an effect on our bodies. And you can just see this looks like somewhere probably out here, or probably somewhere close by. But you can see all the trash that washes in from the ocean. And so, you know, we're all being faced with that. Tiffany and I talk about water all day long, and we haven't decided to do that one yet. That's another talk, huh, Tiffany?
Yes. But
the water we drink, everything's affecting us. And our skin is a big organ. It's the largest organ in our body. and things soak into our body. So, you know, we've got a lot happening. So as I mentioned, we have environmental toxins, we've got pesticides and everything, even in our fruits and vegetables. It's in it, not on it. It's grown in the water. We have medications, pollutions, all kind of contaminants, even our hair products, our deodorant, all of that stuff, plastics, and as you can see, sometimes from other countries. We buy some fruits and vegetables. Pretty much what's happening with us is that it goes bad before we ever get a chance to eat it all. And then, you know, there's a lot of trans fat. That's a very negative thing. If you look at a food label or something and you see trans fat, that's really hard on the arteries. And then they've been injecting a lot of our meats and everything with growth hormones. So they want to hurry up and grow them, sell them, but the growth hormones go in our system. Our little young girls are developing breasts sooner, the boys are developing sooner because of this, and it's all in our meat product. So, you know, years ago, 100 years ago, even when I was little, 80% of the foods at the grocery stores didn't exist 100 years ago because they're putting all kind of stuff in them, creating stuff to make sales. Also, when you look at our nutritional value, 80% of the nutritional value is lost. Our soil is bad in this country. It's just been overused. Tiffany was telling me, wasn't that you telling me that you were trying to grow something in your yard and the soil, it didn't work because, you know, it's been over-processed,
Yes.
overutilized. You see down here, things are injected, you know, a lot of canned goods, you know, even in your lifetime, it's changed. So, oxidation, what is it? And it's plain and simple. And I like to use the analogy of an apple. You ever cut an apple and within a few seconds, it starts to turn brown, right? So if you notice it, you know, it's starting to turn brown, that's discoloration, turning brown. That's a form of oxidation. So when you think of that inside of our bodies happening, not that we're going to cut ourselves open and start seeing how we turn colors, but it's a form of how oxygen and oxidation takes place. So there's something called free radicals. And free radicals, basically what happens is they're scavengers. Free radicals are byproducts of stuff we eat, and they just look for other molecules to attach to. They're scavengers. They are harmful to our body. They get on everything that we, you know, inside of us, and they roam and they circulate throughout the body, and it causes problems in us. So whenever you hear that term free radicals, they're talking about. And so inside the body, what happens is then the cells, which we are made up of billions and billions of cells, what happens is we start to rust. The cells start to rust. The membranes that coated around it start to rust. And inside of the cells is what we call our DNA. Inside of it, that's the central nervous system of every part of every cell. That's where everything happens, in the DNA. And all of this stuff gets in there, all the scavengers and junk get inside of our cells, and then it starts affecting nearby cells, and it just builds up in our body. And it keeps building and it keeps building until you start feeling inflammation. Now, I don't know about you, but I was telling Tiffany last year, this is not my time of year, because I always get, you know, pain here, pain there, pinch there, when the weather changes. But it's inflammation because of my diet. And so I started learning, you know, it's like, I got to get rid of this because I don't want to live like this. And here's inflammation in the body. Some of the contributing factors: dairy, milk products. We were raised to think that milk was like, it does a body good. Milk is everything. Well, it's not. And it's a marketing thing. Milk, as Tiffany says, is for a calf. Isn't that what you always tell me?
Yes.
Yeah. So people are switching because it's one, and cheese. That's one of the biggest culprits. Wheat, refined sugar, red meat is a big one. Red meat, when they start to break it down, It produces all kind of free radicals. Oxidation starts happening, and we get inflammation. So people have gout. You ever hear of gout? And people complain about their knees and their joint, and it kind of swells up. It's from the uric acid byproduct of meat. Fried foods. And then corn is not really, it's like a man-created thing. GMO. It's genetically modified corn. So, and of course, sugar. So, all the good stuff, huh? And then there's 8 ways to get chronic inflammation that can damage our body. You know, it can really wreak havoc. So it can increase your risk for cardiovascular problems with too much inflammation. You know, all those free radicals, our body starts rusting and getting inflamed. It's got to do something, and it's going to start attacking various organs. So joint pain and loss of mobility, that's what I was feeling. You know, get up in the morning, ow, ooh, my husband and I both. Abnormal growth of healthy cells because the free radicals and stress, the oxidative, is crowding out the healthy cells. It just pushes them out of the way. Weight gain, some people can say, I'm eating so well, but why am I gaining weight? Well, you're not eating the right stuff. Compromised digestion function, people get constipated, or they may have problems, you know, bowel and bladder problems. They might have diverticulitis, or they have, you know, a lot of problems in their, you know, GI tract. Memory loss, that's another one they're finding that causes a lot that comes from inflammation. Your brain gets inflamed. So think of all the organs, and you start losing muscle tone, but you also get wrinkles fast. And so, and there's been, you know, research behind all of this, but a lot of this information isn't, you know, we see our doctors, we go to our doctors, we spend 5-10 minutes with them at the most, right? On a good day, 10 minutes. I don't know about you, maybe 10. But they can't tell you about your body. You can't write down an experience and tell them everything. But, you know, a lot of times they don't really share this information for whatever reason. And so people get pills. They get pills for all this. Oh, my back hurts. Let me give you a pill for that. Oh, I got a headache. Let me give you a pill for this. You know, oh, my joints hurt. Let me give you something for that. So then that's how people start. But really, a lot of it is just inflammation. So here's Tiffany's diagram. She loves this. This is, I'm very visual. So here it is, a normal cell. Here's what free radicals look like when the cells get attacked. And then here is the cell, pretty much cell death. You know, when it's rusted out, it looks rusty, crusty and rusty. So, and that's the progression of what you see. Some of the things you will see with people with that, free radical can cause obesity. The causes, air pollution is a problem that makes, you know, makes us have issues. Smoking, alcohol, toxins, high blood sugars, you know, the fats, we don't sunbathe. Infections, you can get free radicals after an infection. It just breaks down a lot of the things, and so they're just roaming around. So a lot of times people get the flu or something like that, and you've got to really, a lot of people do detox or something and clean their body out afterwards. Too much of vitamins and too much of stuff is not good. So excessive iron, magnesium, copper, zinc, not good. It's going to cause more free radicals. Too much oxygen or too little. Body has to be in a balanced state. Prolonged exercise. I knew a lady that this happened to. She was trying to lose weight, and she became, like, I call them a gym rat. She was going like twice a day. And all that breakdown, and her tissue started breaking down, and she ended up having a lot of problems. Then, of course, excessive intake of antioxidants such as vitamin C and vitamin E. Again, there's a pattern here. Too much of anything isn't good. Antioxidant deficiencies. Antioxidants are the good guys. We want those, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then, of course, the highly processed foods, we're talking about bacon, we're talking all the good stuff. Bacon, pork, you know, like pork and beans in the canned foods, all of those things. So those are things that can cause, you know, a lot of highly processed fast food. I can't leave that one out. Highly processed food. we used to eat at home a lot. I don't know if you guys did. You probably did growing up. Eat more at home than you did out. And now it's just the opposite. But a lot of the food that we have that they're fixing us, like we just saw, Tiffany, what was that we were talking about? Burger King and McDonald's coming out with a plant-based sandwich. And they got sued because they were still cooking it on the grill with the beef. So now they got a lawsuit. But we used to eat at home. So anyway, prolonged oxidative stress can really mess up our DNA inside of our cells. And when your DNA gets messed up, it's a problem. It can cause your cells to die. And when your cells die, you're not going to have a healthy body. And so you're going to have increased risk of bad health outcomes, as I mentioned before, and even certain types of cancer. So we want to, both of my parents died one died when I was 25, the other one died when I was 38. And they died prematurely of cancer. And I went to my doctor and I said, I'm getting to be about their age when they died. And I was really worried about it. And he said, well, let me tell you something. He said, first of all, you don't have an expiration date anywhere stamped on you. Second, he said, when you look at prevention and premature death and genetics is only 3 to 5% of what you're going to be predisposed to. So you only have a 3 to 5% chance of being predisposed to what they died from. The rest is you. He said, the rest is you, how you live, how you eat, how you take care of your body. And I felt really relieved after that because I was getting really nervous. It was like, oh man, I'm getting to be the age they were when they passed. And I'm thinking, wow, what's going to be my future. But then he kind of gave me the okay to go ahead and permission to live the way I need to live in a better way. So this, I'm real graphic, so hopefully this doesn't bother you. This is a healthy cell. This is the DNA. This is when it gets attacked by a free radical. I don't know if you can see this, but look at all the thorns and everything. It's just crowded. All those things they're just ugly. And then there's a damaged cell. It's totally damaged and it's mutating. And the problem with bad cells, they mutate and they multiply and they crowd out the good cells. So I like to know, and I don't know about you, what's happening on my body inside. So vitamins, fruits, and vegetables is the good news. So here's the thing. A lot of people talk about vitamins versus vegetables. And I wanted to talk about it because people get it mixed up. First of all, I go back into the Bible, and they were just eating fruits and vegetables. Adam and Eve, they had everything. Now we've got these pharmaceutical companies wanting to make things synthetically. But what they're doing is taking fruits and vegetables and making it synthetic. They're putting fillers in them and everything. So that if you look at the division here, you have vitamins, man-made, fruits and vegetables, natural. Vitamins imitate plants. We got the real thing over here with fruits and vegetables. Too much toxic and harmful vitamins, too much, as I mentioned, very toxic to the system sometimes. You can't really have any harm, maybe some allergies, like I'm allergic to strawberries, but, for the most part, you don't have any harm. You can't OD and die from fruits and vegetables unless you're allergic to them. But other than that, vitamins are way more expensive. Fruits and vegetables, less expensive. No government regulation over vitamins. If you look on the labels, unless it has a special seal on it called NSF, which I'll talk about, it's fair game. They've opened up some of these vitamins and then inspected them to see if they really contain what they're supposed to have in them. And they found sometimes they don't even have what they're supposed to have, what's on the bottle. It's something totally different and different amounts. The government highly regulates fruits and vegetables. Body gets rid of excess with vitamins. What you don't need, you gets rid of. In other words, they call it expensive P. And that's just what they call vitamins, because what you don't need, it gets rid of. But with fruits and vegetables, the body uses all the nutrients. It gets absorbed. It's sending it to different parts of the body where it needs to be. So, and then also a lot of vitamins are very harmful during pregnancy. So I knew one lady, she said, I was pregnant, so she was giving her husband the prenatals too. I'm like, why are you giving your husband prenatal vitamins? He's not pregnant. But you can get toxic the doctors will ask you what you're taking, certain things you cannot take. But with fruits and vegetables during pregnancy, not harmful. So you see the difference here? This right here is a multivitamin, and it's showing you the label here. Here's a multivitamin. These are all of the elements that are in it. That's it. On this side, that's everything that's in an apple. Look at the difference. An apple has approximately 10,000 what they call plant nutrients working together. So 10,000 just from one apple. This maybe has 20. So you can see the difference. There's no, man cannot compare to what nature has given us. And so research shows, even in fact, I was reading last night that vitamins can do more harm than good. Now they're starting to recommend, in fact, Harvard has done some studies and they're recommending that we kind of pull back on some of these vitamins. But research also shows that whole foods protect the body. But 70% of the people are trying to fill the gap with a multivitamin, and it's not going to work. It doesn't do it. So basically, our bodies want equilibrium. In equilibrium, you want a balance between free radicals. The antioxidants are the good guys. So the antioxidants that are in fruits and vegetables, you know, they're going to try to push these things out and keep those under control. Okay, so your body needs to maintain that balance between free radicals and antioxidants. And remember, antioxidative stress can cause chronic inflammation. So, and that's what we don't want. So there's good news. So, as I mentioned, experts say many older people aren't getting enough nutrients in their diets, especially older people. We absorb things much slower. You know, we digest things slower, our metabolism slower. So many older adults are not getting enough nutrients. In fact, they say we should have 10 fistful sizes of fruits and vegetables a day. I don't know about you, but on a good day, I might get 3. So there's also been a preventive task force that I said before doesn't support taking vitamins and minerals to ward off disease. A lot of people say, I'm going to take this vitamin and it's going to help me live longer. No, it's not going to do that. Vitamins, multivitamins showed no benefit. This is coming from a medical journal. No benefit in preventing early death. That was published in 2013. These are international journals from physician, highly reputable journals. So what we want to do is try to improve our diet before turning to supplements. So improve the diet before turning to supplements. So we have some simple changes. 75% of diseases are preventable through good nutrition. We're going back to the basics. 75% of diseases are preventable through good nutrition. And they mean a rainbow of colors. Look at all these colors here, yellow, purple. If you can get a rainbow, it's good for cardiovascular health. Top anti-inflammatory vitamins, here they are. And here's some of the fruits and vegetables and beans. What are good sources? They still have dairy in here, but I'm using almond milk. So those are things that it can help too. So what can we do to be healthier? Exercise. I don't know about you, I'm working on this. We're all work in progress. I'm not saying I've cracked the code on any of this. Exercise, sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. We try to deal with the environmental changes, protect ourselves as much as possible. We can control this, drinking more water. I always think of Tiffany when I think of water. Managing our stress, finding ways to just chill out and eat real food, not processed food. They said the more you can eat stuff that's not packaged and bottled and, in cans, the more closer to nature. In other words, the closer to the raw state, the way that it came in the way we got it, the better it is for you. So, and we're going back, like I said, we're going 360. My mother and father-in-law never hardly ate out. And so, and then, this is where Tiffany talks about Juice Plus. We talk about Juice Plus a lot. What we get in this company has figured out They've been around for 25 years. What they did is figured out how to take out the water from fruits and vegetables. They take it out, put it in a vegan capsule, like a tapioca capsule, and they cold press it, which is a process, and they pick it when it's really ripe. And then they go through this whole thing. I showed Tiffany, and she could probably send you a video of how they do it. She was pretty blown away when she saw it. And they ship it out when it's ripe. They don't have a long shelf life, you know, and any of that thing. They want things to be as fresh as possible. So they also put the peels in there, the leaves and the seeds, because that's where a lot of nutrition is. And the other thing is that it's synergistic. So 1, 2, 3, these things work together. They've had a lot of work into it to make sure that these three, we call them blends, work together. And they're all doing different things for our body internally. For example, I'll just point out one. The purple one has elderberry in it. I don't know about you. I went to the store the other day at Whole Foods. I was trying to find elderberry. I've never seen elderberry. I can't find it. But it's one of the main things that can help fight against viruses and the flu. So, and then we've got this blend of fruits and vegetables. We also have the omega blends, which are 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. There's 5 omegas. Most of us buy one omega 3 or omega 6. And that causes us problems. So, the children can also, age 13 and over, they can also enjoy, you know, the adult version, but kids can also do these too. And we have a program for that as well, where we sponsor children.
Okay, Lena, we have about 10 more minutes.
Yep, I'm almost done. And thank you.
Welcome.
So, and then we also have shakes. We don't have a lot of products, but we also have something called complete shakes. And those are at the top. I just finished a full body detox on these. And it's a 10-day. And it's all plant-based. Powder, you put it in with fruits and vegetables, throw it in your blender. And that's been really helpful. And then what it does is pull out all the toxins out of our fat cells, which is pretty amazing. And so, you know, it's very unique. Like I said, it's NSF certified. We meet all these gold standards as far as for research, you know, 38 proven clinical trials. They're all natural, you know, there's no dairy, there's no additives. We have a food label on it. It's really food. That's all it is. It's food. And then here's the gold standard. People say, well, where are they? Look at all these countries that we've published articles in these journals and all these universities. And these are placebo, double-blind, controlled studies. And then they're published in articles. So they're very ethical. And we've had 20 years of that. Very few companies get this gold standard research. Our children's health study is something, as I mentioned before, if anybody has children and they are taking the fruits and vegetables or the berry blend, they can qualify. We've been doing about a 20-year study, and research has shown, we can sponsor the child, and the child will get it for free for up to 4 years. If there's a parent, a grandparent, like I have 7 grandchildren, and my husband and I, between my husband and I, my daughters, and what have you, we've sponsored all of them. So they have their own Juice Plus. They get the chewable fruits and veggie blend, the green bottle and the red bottle, I call them. And they've done studies, and all they ask is parents and whoever sponsor them, when they send out a survey, they want them to fill the survey out because that's part of their clinical trial, their study. So they found so far that 60% of the kids have fewer days off of school, 56% fewer over the counter, drinking more water, they're going to the doctors less, consuming less fast foods and drinking fewer soft drinks and eating more fruits and vegetables. And I can tell you, out of my 7 grandkids from ages 13 down to the 3-year-old, it's all because the baby can't take it. We've had way few sicker days because we were all like pitching in with them trying to stay home from school, especially the beginning of the school year. So there's something to it. So we call that healthy starts for families. And, this is the last part. I met Tiffany through, like she said, through the internet. And, we started talking. How I got into it was I was looking for a business on the side. I teach, but I also had some other things that I wanted to do. Like I have mad money for my grandkids, but also, I just want to be able to travel more. So, this affords me an opportunity. So, if you know of anybody or if you're interested or anything of that nature, you can ask Tiffany about it. But, it's a good organization. They offer a lot of perks.